The following is a production of cprundown.com. The views and opinions expressed by the host of this podcast are those of the individual and not of any affiliated companies. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast covering the Cedar Fair Entertainment Company, the amusement industry, and the business of fun. Here are your hosts, Karsten Anderson, Evan Schultz, and Kyle Hu.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast where we cover Cedar Fair, Cedar Point, and everything to fun. And we're back this week for another episode of the Rundown on Fun. And let's just...
And I was going to say, I think we finally have everybody here this time.
I think we do.
First time in a month.
Yeah.
Everyone's been emailing us like, "Where's Kyle at?" And I was like, "Oh, you know, he's been a little busy." They're like, "Okay." And then when Evan was gone, I was like, "Where's Evan at?" I'm like, I wonder if I take a week off if they'd be like,
"Nah, probably
silence." They're like,
well, we'll get into this later.
like,
whoa. We'll get into this a little later, but you guys might not hear from me for about 8 weeks because Horror Nights starts tomorrow.
Yes, it is.
Dun dun dun.
So the calendar turns to September, and it's immediately spooky season.
Yep.
Oh, I don't know.
All the way until Christmas. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know what you're talking about, but it has been spooky season in Central Florida since like mid-August. So
It's a lot of horror nights to get ready for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kyle's going to be on vacation for the next 8 weeks. So he did sign his contract. So he is obligated to return to the show. So
I don't know but my new hire paperwork from when I got fired at the end of last season gives me off Horror Nights.
That was one of the conditions that you're like, I'm coming back, but I'm not recording it all during Horror Nights.
Yeah. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get into the Cedar Fair talk, and then we'll talk HHN. So kick us off with our weekly Top Thrill 2 update.
Well, there's a lot to discuss. Evan and I know we said that there wasn't a whole lot going on, and to our defense, like, I think we visited the park the one day, and I think a lot of the rides were closed just because of the power outage the one time that I visited, and then also like it was raining and storming, and we've been getting a whole lot of Florida weather up here. It feels like because it's like monsooning sometimes, and then it's not. I guess this is like the third rainiest summer in Ohio of all time, or whatever is what they were saying. So anyway, there's been a ton of new construction on Top Thrill 2. First of all, they've got it looks like they're pretty much almost done forming all of the concrete per se, all the foundations and things like that need to go where the station is. It's got, like, if you ride Power Tower, you can see with your eyes, not with your phone, but you can see all the construction that's going on right now. They haven't touched any of the tower yet. Evan and I are almost on the same page saying we might see tower construction possibly pick up when Cedar Point goes and starts closing during the week, because if they were to start construction on the tower, you have to think about it. They probably don't want to pay the construction guys overtime for working at night. I don't know if that would be like a thing, but that's probably a thing. So they probably want to wait until the construction guys could get like 2 or 3 days and not
and they don't want to shut down Iron Dragon and do it, so do it during the week when Iron Dragon is closed anyway.
Exactly. So I'm curious to see what the park's going to look like the first Thursday whatever day that they're open after their closing stay, and you could see what's going on. So I'm curious to see if they have any pieces. I have a feeling they will, and I think Evan, you're in the same boat as well.
And more paint on the existing tower.
Yeah, I don't know why they stopped doing the painting, unless they need like a bigger crane and they're just waiting for...
I think they literally their rollers don't reach that far anymore, and they're just like, we'll wait for daily ops to stop.
Yeah. So maybe that's the key, or
they want to paint the tall parts of the tower after the winter, just like so it doesn't get like really gross and dirty and snowy and whatever.
It's interesting.
Make sure it's nice and clean for May.
Well, we did actually get to see the old electrical room for Top Thrill that it probably would be the electrical room, I would assume. But they did paint it. It's actually on all the renderings we were looking at, new rendering photos. If you go to the front gate, you can see some new rendering photos that Cedar Point put up on their like marquee signs before you, or like right after you go through security. You can see those big blue boxes. You can see new renderings, but in the renderings, that building's actually gray. And lo and behold, we looked over the wall and we saw the old electrical room, the blue, and it looks like that's the blue color that's going to be where the same color blue that's going to be used in the station
and on the trains.
And
if you don't, we're not talking about the launch room. We're talking about the electrical room that's by the next to the brake run, not the launch room.
Yeah, it was like the unload and unload area.
Color.
It's like it was a big old room.
Like if you're stopped right before unloading on Old Top Thrill Dragster, that building.
Yeah.
Right to your right.
Yeah, it wasn't on the Midway side. It was facing on the Iron Dragon.
Right under Iron Dragon and Rougarou. Yep.
Yeah. So definitely check that out. All the like the turn and everything seems to be coming together. Like the new renderings that we were able to see at the front, it looks like they might possibly, because I know Evan and I think we had to talk about this off the podcast, but it looks like they might be extending the station backwards compared to what it used to be, so that way they're going to have a bigger footprint, and you can probably fit maybe 2 or 3 people in a row to wait for whatever row kind of thing.
You're talking like how wide the station is.
Yeah. How wide or how deep it will be, because I mean,
how much of that infield area it takes up.
Yeah, so that's pretty much where the old bushes used to be,
and the ramp.
And so it looks like it's going to be extended outward, just a little bit. But yeah, I mean,
maybe not.
Right. It looks like that. So and then also, with all of the crazy flooding that has been and the rain, I think we got like literally 8 inches of rain, the one day, and Cedar Point flooded, and that was probably a whole episode in itself. I do want to commend the park that, even though that they could have took the easy way out and decided to close, they stayed open as much as they could with what they could. Like the park was
and
open,
the rides that were not literally underwater did wind up opening the day that the park was flooded.
Yeah. So I mean, kudos to them. The reason I bring that up is because when I rode Power Tower, you could see like there was like swimming pools in the giant deep footer sections of like where the concrete's going to be poured and so on and so forth. So that might have obviously we don't have a construction timeline and they can pick up whatever, but that might have maybe, I don't know, put them back a little bit just because they have to wait for the water to drain and whatever.
Oh God, you're going to start the rumor. Top Thrills not going to be ready till June.
No, definitely not. Yeah, no, I mean, if you look at everything, you could see that they are very close to almost completing like the circuit, besides obviously the spike and the tower and everything. That'll
just
take
like
a little
the
bit.
Old unload turn and like half of the launch.
Yeah, and then that's it with the old part, and then they just have to obviously build that tower will go up really quick too, because it's not like the original tower where it's like spread out. I mean, that tower is pretty tiny. Like, I mean, once you see it from on the ground and stuff and everything, it's not as like spaced out and everything. So I think that'll go up. It'll go up pretty fast. I don't know. I want to predict that the tower, if we don't get any crazy delays and everything's good to go, I want to say it's going to be done before New Year's.
If not that, at least chill out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would assume it'd be done by Winter Chill Out, and hopefully, maybe fingers crossed, toes crossed, everything else. Hopefully, they'll have the trains possibly at Winter Chill Out.
That'd be cool.
And hopefully, we'll be able to score tickets to Winter Chill Out, because I have a feeling that's going to be a very hot commodity. So
yeah, it's going to be a hot ticket.
Yeah.
I was going to say too.
Everything's progressing on Top Thrill. And Evan, if you have anything to add.
I was just going to say that the brake run, like all the mechanisms look like they're in, like the brakes and the drive tires and this and that. And like of the launch track that is there, I'd say like half of it, as of last weekend, half of it has LSM magnet fins ready to go. So,
Yep. So
it's cool to see track there again.
It is very, very nice to see the track there again. And then from Coaster Radio, when Tony was interviewed by them, he did say, well, I don't think he could quote unquote said it, but I believe he said that was like reconditioned Top Thrill dragster track.
I forget his exact wording, and Tony, I'm sorry, but he did basically confirm on CoasterRadio.com's podcast that the track for the launch, and I think the brake run too. But I know at least the launch is the Top Thrill Dragster track that has been reused and repurposed for
That's
the
so
new
cool.
LSM launch.
I mean, that's got to be a huge moneymaker because, I mean, steel is just through the roof right now.
So really the only new track potentially is just the curve and then the spike. Everything else is still good old Top Thrill Dragster.
Yep.
But then the rest is Top Thrill 2.
Yep. So anyway, so talking about all of that, Evan, I know you're like the super foodie and everything, and unfortunately, we're going to be gone for this.
We're going to be gone for one of the bigger food weekends of the year.
I know, and I know that we both looked at each other and we're like, "Dang it, that's seriously oh man." Anyway, so the Fry, I don't know what it's called exactly. Evan, you've got more information on that, but the Fry Festival,
Happy
I guess you could say, but
Friars
the real
Fresh Cut
official name
Fries
is
Festival.
Oh, there you go. There's Kyle in for the win.
Yeah, so last year, I'm sure you all remember I was like freaking out about French Fry Weekend, which is the weekend now in between Labor Day and when Halloween weekend starts. Unfortunately, this year, we all accidentally booked trips to Orlando for that weekend, so we will have 0 reports of this. However, if you want to go and check out Happy Friars Fresh Cut Fries with Fest, it's on September 9th and 10th. I think the whole day that the park is open. You just go to either of the Happy Fryer, or one's Happy Fryer and one's what? Just
hot potato, right?
Hot potato. There we go. So that's the one at the front of the park, and Happy Fryer's back by Gemini. Just go to either location, and they have specialty. Well, they say here's our star-spudded. Nope. Well, pun definitely intended. Lineup for 2023. So it looks like they're going to do like French fry bowls this year. And there's 4. You have, and I think all 4 are going to be available at both spots. You don't have to go to one place to get one like it was last year. So we have the fully loaded fresh cut fries, which are the fries with ground beef, nacho cheese, roasted corn, sliced olives, salsa, sour cream, and jalapenos. So basically like taco fries. Cuban fresh cut fries. So we have the fries with diced ham and pickles, white cheese sauce, yellow mustard, and parsley. We have gyro or euro, however you want to pronounce it, meat or fries with the euro, gyro, whatever, meat, lettuce, tomato, onion, tzatziki sauce, and dill. That sounds good.
That does sound really good.
And then last but not least, we have Philly cheesecake fresh cut fries with Philly meat, nacho cheese sauce, sauteed onions and peppers, and parsley. And the most important part, I guess, you can meet the Happy Fryer, the namesake of our reading from their website. The namesake of our famous fresh cut fries stand near Gemini will be making appearances throughout the weekend. Stop by and grab a selfie or family photo as he delivers the good news about Cedar Point's deliciously decadent, limited time, tasty taters. So, So if you like food, if you like French fries, please go during Happy Friars Fresh Cut Fries Fest, because none of us will be there, and tell us about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, feel free to email us on the Facebook page. That seems to be our most active social media, and say, hey, I tried the loaded or the fully loaded fresh cut fries or the Cuban fresh cut fries or whatever, and let us know. And if you do that, we'll share your opinions on the next,
because we'll need somebody's opinion to share.
So, and if not, then we'll just say that they were all great.
Do we have anyone that we can call on to go cover it for us?
Maybe.
No, they're all going to be in Orlando.
I say Justin's going to be in Orlando. Our friend, our neighborhood, another neighborhood friend, Jared's going to be in Orlando.
Everyone's in Orlando.
And feel free to.
Justin's mom won't be in Orlando, and I know she's a big fan.
We go.
So
all right, so Justin, you're going to be listening to this, and Justin's mom, go to Cedar Point and try all of the fresh cut fry options,
and let us know.
And let us know. So,
do we have any comp tickets or anything we can give her?
I think she actually has.
We might have some. Or Kirsten, you're a Prestige Pass holder. You got to bring a friend ticket. Come on.
I do. Yeah, I actually do. Yeah, I still have a few. I think I renewed, and so I think I got a few more as well. But speaking of season passes, I'll roll right into that. Season passes for Cedar Point / Cedar Fair, I believe just Cedar Point, they go up on September 5th. So make sure that you get your gold pass, because I love, and Evan and I love the emails that we get on CP Rundown yelling at us because they think we're the park, but we're not the park. And we tell them that we're not the park, but they're like, what happened to the $99 gold pass? Well,
I don't know. We're not the park.
Exactly. Well, we don't know where it went. And also, you need to buy it when we say buy it because the prices will go up. They're not going to stay $99 until May of next year. Hello. They got a brand new coaster opening up next year. And
What?
I know, right? So, yeah. So, you got...
What is it? Top Thrill Dragster, the ride backwards?
Yeah, Top Thrill 2. So, according to Cedar Point's
Shout
website,
out to Six Flags.
4 days, 3 hours, 58 minutes, and 39 seconds. So
season passes have been on sale for a
bit.
Season passes have been on sale for a bit.
Since August 1st. They've been on sale for a month. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
because they went on sale the day that Top Thrill 2 was announced.
Well, if you haven't bought your pass yet, do it because the prices are going to go up after Labor Day.
Exactly. And then also we will be doing, I know that this is going to be more of a special episode for Halloween Horror Nights, but we will be having a Halloween Weekends episode, hopefully next week-ish.
Cedar Point, please drop the news so we have content.
Yeah, when Cedar Point drops news, because we're in the dark like everybody else is, and we're not exactly sure what's going on. So stay tuned for that. And without further ado, I think I'm gonna bring in my spooky friend here that is all about Halloween Horror Nights. You guys know him as Kyle, but Kyle, you wanna give us a little taste?
Thank you, Karsten, for that frightfully fun introduction. For those of you who have been listening to the past couple weeks and have been missing my voice or thinking I've not been here, I definitely am, and you're gonna get your fill tonight. Tonight is one of my favorite nights, followed by tomorrow, which is one of my favorite days. In my opinion, the absolute best day on the theme park calendar every year, and that is opening night of Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios Florida. I absolutely love this event. I went all out this year and bought the big pass with Express every night. So I know I joked about it earlier, but you might not hear from me for 8 weeks, so we're going to talk about it tonight.
Yeah, we're going to give you the rundown, ding, on everything. Right.
See, we're still spinning it back to Cedar Fair.
Yeah. So what's really fun about this year, not only is the stellar lineup of IPs and original content houses, plus some shows that TBH I'm not a huge fan of. I was more of a Bill and Ted guy. Wish they'd bring that back, but that's neither here nor there. It's also the first year that Evan is going to experience Halloween Horror Nights in all of its glory. It is. And what a year, my friend, you have picked to make your first. It just seems like a stacked year.
It's stacked. I'm probably the most excited I've been for Horror Nights, and probably since before the pandemic. Not gonna lie.
I mean, I'm super excited, obviously, but I feel a little in the dark because I feel like some of the houses I don't know. I'm like, I probably am not as hyped about certain houses as I should be because I just don't know like the history behind them. Like I think Yeti is one of them for that, where it's just the Yeti house, where I'm just like, is that an old house? Is that something they're bringing back? Is there a story there? I don't know. And I guess I'll find out, but I'm super excited either way.
Yeah, before you go, you'll have to give me a call, and I'll run you through the lore that you've missed and get you caught up.
Sounds good.
Also this year...
I'm going to take you up on that, by the way.
I hope you do. I really do. Also this year is the return of the world-famous Halloween Horror Nights Tribute Store. And if you're listening to this podcast, you might find myself as a permanent addition to this year's Tribute Store.
Oh.
So,
okay.
Are you allowed to expand upon that? Because I'm honestly clueless. What you texted that to us, and I'm hearing it now, and I'm very confused because I've never been there.
So the past couple years, because Halloween Horror Nights has such a, for lack of a better term, cult following and this just dedicated fan base that the event ends and their minds automatically just jump to next year. Universal has given its diehard fans of the event the option to be included in the Tribute Store. In years past, they also did this for Mardi Gras this year. There is a way that you can buy an item. This year, they are comic books. And it's like $75, and you send a picture to the Universal Creative, and they actually put you on the cover of a comic book that will be displayed in the tribute store. And at the end of the event, they actually mail you the comic book, and it isn't just a cover. It's an actual comic book. And the only way you can get it is if you do buy it and put your face or whatever in the house for the year. In years past, it's been a way for people to memorialize loved ones who are no longer with them. It's been a way for the diehard fans to be included. Sometimes there's even pets. Sometimes people will take pictures of their cats or dogs and include them. I opted to do that this year. So there were 5 different comic book covers you could choose from. And then they put your face on it and your body, and then display it in the store for all to see for the duration of the event.
So can we know what photo? Can you describe the photo so we can figure out?
Is it like a mug shot, or are you like posing?
No. So I chose cover number 2, and you guys aren't going to know what that means, but I'm going to try to find a picture to show you here, and then you'll just people listening won't be able to see. I don't know if we can see this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So are you like replacing the chick in the front that's like screaming?
Yeah, that was like a default one. And then they basically just tell you, send a high-res picture of your entire body on a solid background to the creative team, and they'll like remove you from the image and place you on the cover. So this was my image this year.
Nice.
So look for Kyle scared.
Yes.
With his hands kind of up in front of his chest.
I think maybe we can give out a prize or something if we have a listener that's down there that's not any of us. If someone finds Kyle.
Boom. Yes. First person to send us a picture of Kyle's comic book wins a prize.
Yep. If someone other than the other two hosts and our big crew that's going down, not this weekend but next.
Yep.
But
that'll be awesome.
Let's go ahead and jump into the houses. I'm going to try to breeze through this as quickly as possible, and then we'll talk scare zones, and then we'll briefly talk shows, and we'll do our hype list if you guys have those available.
Sure.
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
So topping the IP list is Stranger Things 4. Now, Evan, one of the benefits or reasons to go back to Halloween Horror Nights every year is that every year there are 10 haunted houses that are completely new and different. They will never return to the event. Mm-hmm. They put the house in. Mm-hmm. They spend millions of dollars on the sets and the story. They run it for 40 nights, and then they level it and rebuild something new for next year. So,
which is awesome, by the way.
Stranger Things as an IP is not new to the event. It has appeared twice before. Once as Stranger Things 1 in HHN 28, and then again as Stranger Things 2 and 3 during HHN 29, and now for HHN 32, we have Stranger Things 4. So it says, try to escape the curse of Vecna. You'll need your squad to resist Vecna's gruesome curse. Like 11, now's your chance to stop him once and for all as you take on the scariest season of Stranger Things yet.
I haven't actually watched Stranger Things 4 yet.
Just look up like a summary. You'll do fine.
As soon as we log off, episode 1 is going down. Yeah. So I need to be ready.
Good. Because you can honestly, I just watched Stranger Things 4. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of ashamed, but yeah. So I'm a big Stranger Things fan, but I haven't watched it because I've just been so busy and I didn't have a Netflix account and whatever. But I watched the season in 2 nights, so you can easily squeak it out.
Oh yeah, we'll be good. All right, continue, Kyle, because we got a lot to talk about.
I do want to say really quick, Evan, since this is your first time, there is, I guess you could say, like Easter eggs or whatever in some of the haunted houses and stuff, where you'll see like a button, and if you push that button, it'll actually like do something. You might not see what it does, but it actually does something like somewhere around in the haunt, in the haunted house or whatever, to where it could like make lights turn on or make a blow air or something. So
real quick on that, one of my favorite examples of that was from HHN 28, where Carnival Graveyard was one of the anchor houses, and the button in Carnival Graveyard actually triggered like a squirt gun, and would get the person in front of you just soaked.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Friends
So
were
if you see a
lost to those
button,
nights.
feel free to touch it. You know.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So next up
Anyway.
on the list is another IP house, and one that's pretty unique because normally when we see a house at Halloween Horror Nights, it is based off of a property and a film that people know and love and has kind of, been a very popular horror film. This one, The Exorcist, while the IP itself is not new to the event or new to the world of horror, The Exorcist Believer is. And in fact, the movie does not even come out until Horror Nights is over. So if you're planning on seeing this movie, this will be a fun little way to kind of go through and experience it before you get to see it on the big screen. So, The Exorcist Believer and Evil Reawakened. 2 missing girls have been found with no memory of what happened to them, but wherever they went, the ultimate evil has returned with them. Enter the most terrifying scenes from the new Blumhouse film. So that's
Okay.
The Exorcist.
All I'm saying is the preview for The Exorcist looks so good. So I'm excited for the house.
Next
Continue.
up is one that personally I'm not super excited for. Excited for is the wrong word. I'm not going to enjoy this house as much as other people because I'm not familiar with the IP, but that is The Last of Us. For those of you who have seen the show and played the game, this is based on the PS5 version. So, step into the world of The Last of Us. You and your squad will encounter the haunting and overgrown world of the video game in a brand new, terrifying way. Stay silent if you want to survive the multitude of clickers, hunters, and more.
Okay.
I think this is the first time that they have used a video game. Is it
Yeah.
not?
And they're very specific that they're using the video game and not the show, although there's not huge differences.
One little thing for this is I am that person that I referenced earlier that as soon as the event ends, I'm already ready for next year. I follow all of the speculation maps and everything, and I did not hear a rumor of this. I thought this was going to be a Five Nights at Freddy's house. That was the rumor that I heard.
I thought this was going to be a Megan house.
Although you know what though, maybe because I mean we don't know what happens behind the scenes. Maybe they were going to have it that, and then the IP fell
The Last
through,
of Us
or
was so popular on TV, and they were like,
and they were like, oh, why not?
Yeah. I'll edit this out if you guys want, but last year was actually supposed to be Stranger Things 4. Remember, Karsten, remember Hellblock?
Yep.
So
Yes.
Hellblock was supposed to be Stranger Things, and they got almost all the way done with it before the IP fell through, and that's why it was it's supposed to be like the Russian prison from season 4. But so
I think they did a good job though.
oh no, they did. But I'm just saying that kind of stuff it happens.
It happens.
even to an
It
event like
happens,
Horror
yeah.
Nights.
We've seen that on like t-shirts when
Yeah.
normally they like on the shirts, like they normally have like every single zone or every haunted house. And I think there was one year or something they didn't have a haunted house or a zone or something on one of the shirts, whatever, just because it was like a last minute like IP because they were like, oh, oops.
During 29, Ghostbusters didn't make it on the house shirt.
Yep, I think that's what I was thinking
Yeah.
about. I can't. Everything all blends together, so I'm bad with like remembering what years.
I'll tell you this. I'll remember this year's very, very distinctly.
I would hope so. I remember my first year.
Yeah, Carson, I
25.
believe me and you went for the first. Well, I went for the first time during 25. You did too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep,
All right.
for sure.
So next up is Chucky Ultimate Kill Count, and this one's one we've been waiting for a while because it was actually announced before the event closed last year. So we've known about this house for almost a year now. Chucky's back for even more carnage. Chucky, the serial killer doll, is back for a new gore fest. He's hijacked his own haunted house with all kinds of bloody hijinks. You and your friends must try to survive his ultimate kill count.
I mean, I'm happy that Chucky got a house. I know that he's had one, I think, before,
He's had zones before.
and like the zones and stuff and everything. But I'm excited to see this. I mean, they put Chucky in there, and people are kind of freaked out because it's the clown. So
The doll. Yeah. The park or their little podcast, they explain this as Chucky saw that Universal made him a house and didn't like it, and he took it over and made it his own. And I'd like, if without that little backstory, I'm like, this is really dumb because Chucky's really dumb. But I'm more excited for this than I thought I would be.
every year at Halloween Horror Nights, there is a house that, even though it's an event based around horror, does not try to be scary, and it just tries to be fun. It's normally like a comedy house. I'm being told from my friends who
Like
were
Bugs?
Yeah, like Bugs. Like that one wasn't very scary. It was just like lighthearted and fun. I'm being told that
I
this
wouldn't
is
have
this
liked it.
year's version of like the comedy house.
I'm
I'm
excited.
sure. I'm sure they're all going to be fantastic in their own different ways. So,
Yep.
All right. Next up is the house that I am personally most hyped for. You'll have to wait till the end to hear the rest of my list. But Universal Monsters Unmasked. 4 Universal Monsters, 1 new nightmare. Descend into the Paris catacombs, where you and your squad will face a new horde of monsters. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the Phantom of the Opera, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and the Invisible Man.
I'm intrigued by this one, but I don't know these stories very well, so I'm just kind of like open-minded, excited, but
I'll tell you the reason that I'm very hyped for it, and that is because last year, Universal Monsters, granted it was a different Universal Monsters house, gave the most consistently good run-throughs. Even if you went to the event and you felt like all of the other houses had 2 actors in them, Universal Monsters had 30. There was not a night or a time where I went through that house and did not see a different actor or a different scare like place that I didn't the time before. It was always different. It was always super fun, and there were 3 different endings. And I feel like with 4 this year, it's just going to be crazy.
3 different endings.
I'm definitely excited about it. I wonder if, I mean, I know it's a little early, but I wonder if it'll have some kind of tie into their maybe linking itself to Epic Universe, because they're going to be doing like a Universal Monsters kind of area. So
Also,
Yeah.
also, I want to preface by saying, I make it a personal rule for myself that I'll tell you my pre-event hype list, but I make it a personal rule for myself that I do not rank any houses until at least the 3rd weekend of the event, just because they're all new
fair.
houses, they're all still learning. You got to give them a couple weeks just to really get dialed in.
And that's with anything, you know. I mean, that's with even with Cedar Points. I mean, you know, everyone's got to get their feet under them and figure out what they're doing, and so on and so forth. So,
All right. Next up is one that I know a lot of people are pretty hyped for, and that is Dr. Oddfellow's Twisted Origins. Your soul is a price he's willing to pay. You won't be able to resist going inside Dr. Oddfellow's menacing menagerie of twisted oddities, but the price you and your friends is steep. The cost of your souls to feed his immortal power.
I'm super excited about this.
Is this like, so Dr. Oddfellow seems like this year's like icon, but I thought Jack was the icon.
So,
And it seems like they have some sort of like, they butt heads and or something or another, and now it's Dr. Oddfellow. Or I'm so confused.
Horror Nights as a whole, there's not an icon every year, but Horror Nights as a whole has these icons of the event. Characters who they've developed who are just so important to the backstory and everything of the event. One of those is Jack the Clown. Chance the Clown is also an icon. There's Body Collector, the Crypt Keeper. So there's a lot of these different icons throughout the years. Dr. Oddfellow is not so much an overall event icon as he is an enemy of Jack the Clown, one of
Interesting.
the
Okay.
icons. I'm going to recommend, I know we do our own podcast, but I'm going to recommend the Universal podcast if you want to know the true and full backstory of Dr. Oddfellow. It's only like 10 minutes long and it's worth a listen.
Yeah, I listened to those, and I mean, they're cool. They're because it's a podcast, but they're telling a story about their houses in these podcasts about their original content houses, and that helps understand what's going on a lot better, especially for people like me that have never been to Horror Nights.
Yep.
So,
all right, next up is another I can already tell is going to be a fan favorite for the year. Dueling Dragons Choose Thy Fate, which shares the name of the defunct B&M Dueling Invert Coaster. All right. No matter who you choose, you lose. 2 warlocks of great power were turned into dragons after trying to take Merlin's spell book. Now you and your friends are caught in their epic battle. You must choose a path and a victor.
So is this 2 houses, or is it going to have 2 endings? What's the deal here?
We don't know. I don't think.
I guess Kyle will find out tomorrow.
Unofficially, we don't know. Or officially, we don't know. Unofficially, I'm hearing that there's 2 houses.
Sweet.
God, that means I have to wait in line twice.
All right. Next up is Yeti Campground Kills. Yeti is not a new character to the HHN event. However, this is the most recent incarnation, and the last we have saw of Yeti was HHN 28. So, Yeti or not, here they come. You and your friends are about to venture into a 1950s campground overrun by huge, menacing Yetis who rip apart anyone who gets in their way. You must flee to the Ranger Tower to escape.
See, this is one where I'm just kind of confused on because I've never been to HHN.
Yeah.
So I'm like, a Yeti? Well,
I just kind of think of
know?
like Sasquatch or whatever you want to call it. That's like kind of wild is what I kind of like think in my head, and it has to deal with like a lot of snow. So
Yeah. I hope it's cold in there.
they do, yeah. So that's one thing that's nice with their haunted houses is like if it's supposed to be a snow effect or cold effect or whatever, like it will literally feel like that. Or if it's raining, for instance, like there was a thunderstorm in one of them, like lightning and rain and the whole yards. So it's really cool.
Yeah, last year for oh my god, I'm blanking. Carson. Oh my god, what was the name? You know what I'm talking about.
I'm not good with the names. It was the ship one.
Dead
right?
Man's Pier
The
last year.
Yeah,
Dead
it
Man's
is.
Pier. There is a scene where the ship actually sinks, and you're supposed to be caught in the middle of this rocky storm with thunder and lightning and rain, and it actually rained in that room.
Oh my.
Like it's,
That's
You
cool.
didn't get wet. They like made it to where you like walked around the rain, but you could really see the effect and
Like,
stuff. So
one thing you've got to understand, Evan, is where they build these houses are literal sound stages where they used to film Hollywood movies and TV shows. I mean, they can just go nuts with these sets. I mean, during the
You go to Horror Nights for the immersion more than the scares.
Yeah.
It seems.
in the Michael Myers Halloween house last year, they literally had the 2-story house, like a full blown 2-story house inside of a soundstage.
Crap.
And
I was
you-
gonna say,
and
like,
you literally went in like the back door into the first floor of the house.
yeah.
Oh my
I was
God.
gonna say what's really cool is like sometimes they'll have like a scene where like you're maybe walking, and like they'll have it to where like it's just a huge open space, and you'll almost feel like you're walking down like a neighborhood street. Like they'll have street signs and street lights and telephone poles. I mean, it's just if you're like, wait, what? It's so good.
I
It's
can't.
so
My mind is going to be blown. And I want to mention now that we're talking about Yeti. I think he's been on the podcast like once or twice. Dean, Kyle's roommate, just sent his hype list, and Yeti is at the top of his list.
Yeah. So Dean's very first Horror Nights ever was HHN 29, which was in 2019. And of that, the very first house he ever did was Yeti Terror of the Yukon. So that holds us off.
Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one. Yeah.
All right.
So it's got a soft spot for him.
Yep. All right. We've got 2 more to go through. Next up is The Darkest Deal. Fame is fleeting, fear is forever. Blues musician Pine Straw Spruce will have to face the music after meeting with the Collector and trading his soul for musical glory. You and your squad learn the terrible price of fame.
Interesting. It's a different theme for a house. It's cool.
I'm just
We'll
thinking
talk
of
more
like,
when we get to the
the
hype
game
list.
room at at Area States.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting.
All right. Last on the list, Blood Moon Dark Offerings. Bleed for the Blood Moon. In a colonial-era village, moon worshippers witness a blood moon at their fall festival. They take it as a sign to hunt down any non-followers, including you and your Scream Squad.
I don't, hype list aside, I'm calling this is going to be the scariest one. This is a freaky theme.
Yeah.
That's my opinion, but I don't know. Culty, kind of religious. I don't like it.
I'm excited. I'm super excited about it. Super
Kyle,
stoked.
do you want to really quickly run through the scare zones? Because I don't think I think the houses get most of the hype, but we got to talk the scare zones a little bit too.
Yes. So scare zones this year, they have 5. So if you don't get enough of Dr. Oddfellow in his house, he has his own this year. Dr. Oddfellow's Collection of Horror. Dr. Oddfellow will lure you into Halloween Horror Nights with a promise of immortality as he lifts the veil on all the horrors to come. You'll soon realize you may not even survive the night. All right. Next. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say really quickly, a lot of their, it seems like recently a lot of their scare zones seem to be like tying in with their theme for the year kind of thing. I'm not, in my opinion, I'm not super fond on the scare zones. Maybe like a few of them throughout the years I can remember. But other than that, I feel like they're a huge letdown, at least for me. There was a few, like there was.
I can definitely see that because they're always so crowded when you walk through them, and like I can get that.
Yeah,
It's you in any scare zone. It's not just Horror Nights. It's Cedar Point, Kings Island.
you can see that their bread and butter.
Yeah, move.
Yeah, see, like you can see their bread and butter though is honestly like their haunted houses, because I don't know, like maybe it's when I visit and stuff and everything, I just almost feel like there's not as many scare actors, I think is what they call them, like in the actual zones and stuff. I feel like there could be a lot more, but
Well,
you know,
and this isn't so much at Universal Studios because there's not roller coasters all over the place there, but like kind of takes the immersion away when like Millennium flies over your head and it's like, oh, yeah. So whatever. Kyle, continue.
All right. Next up is Dark Zodiac. Dr. Oddfellow has entered a dark dimension to harness the power of the Zodiac and live forever. He twists the signs into malevolent beings who will foretell your doom. As the star rises, yours falls.
It's also creepy. I think with these, just keep rolling through them.
All right. Jungle of Doom Expedition Horror. In the 1920s, Dr. Oddfellow ventured deep into the darkest jungle, performing horrific experiments on nature. Now his monstrous creations are running amok, and they are coming after you. All right. Next up is another vamp zone, which we haven't seen a vamp zone since... I'm blanking. I think it was the pandemic year was the last time we saw a vamp zone. But this is also kind of a returning theme. Vamp 69, Summer of Blood. At a 60s music fest in a small New York town, you'll jam to popular bands with fellow concertgoers until Dr. Oddfellow unleashes vicious vampires on the audience. They're out for your blood.
can I just say that I really, really hope that, like, you know, like the summer of '69, I hope they have that playing, but I hope they have it like remixed to where it's like in the summer of '69, you know, like something like that. Or something like that's just in my head. And then also really quickly to those zones, there are some really good ones. Like there was one where like they celebrated every like half hour. I think it was like Happy New Year. It was like Kyle, if you remember that one where the ball would drop and everything.
Yep. That was Vamp 99.
Okay, yeah. So I was thinking of
that, like the Y2K thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking of that, and then I was also thinking of the Trick or Treat. That was a really I liked that zone.
Yeah,
that one was a really good zone. And then help me with it. It was the space alien clowns,
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yes, that one was really good. And then I think last year's like the toy where the misplaced toys and stuff and everything.
Toy Factory.
Yes, sorry, I can't remember these names, but yes, you guys remember these names. I thought that was probably, other than that, So, but
Kyle's
but they
like
do
me with roller coasters with Horror Nights.
So,
he's just got the facts.
I do.
It's insane.
1 year, I know during the off season we normally do a fantasy coaster draft. 1 year, I want to do a fantasy HHN draft where everybody picks their perfect year. I think that would be so much fun if we got enough people to do it.
I'm just gonna
That
pick all the 32
I mean,
houses.
they've at least had 32 years of Halloween Horror Nights, so we can at least have 32 quote unquote teams.
Yeah.
Oh god.
All right. So last up before we get into our hype list here, Shipyard 32 Horrors Unhinged. Enter a 1940s San Francisco shipping yard full of mysterious crates and cages bearing Dr. Oddfellow's symbol. Beware, his nightmarish oddities have now escaped, spreading fear and chaos into their wake.
Before we get in our hype list, I just want to say that it's cool to me in scare zones and houses that they do different themes. You don't just have your carnival themed one. You don't just have your corn themed one. You don't just have your slaughterhouse one. It's so different, and I think that's really cool. Like really, really cool. So that's all.
Yeah,
I'm super excited for this year, and like I said, I'm like super hyped. So yeah, I agree.
To me, guys, this is like Christmas Eve for me. Horror Nights is the best.
So obviously, being that this is an audio only podcast, you can't see it. But me and Karsten are watching Kyle's body language right now. He literally looks like a kid on Christmas Eve.
He's
it's like bouncing around.
It was like
so
you and
excited.
I when they were going to announce Top Thrill 2, and we were like,
No, it's worse.
So
he's all twitchy and jumpy, and
complete full disclosure, guys. I woke up today. I didn't know what day it was. I thought it was Friday. So
And then you got really sad.
when I go to work tomorrow, I'm not coming home before Horror Nights. I'm going straight to HHN. So I'm bringing a change of clothes with me. I was halfway to work today with my HHN bag with me before I realized it's not Friday.
oh my gosh, that'd have been funny. Oh, poor Kyle.
I know.
So, are you like
Let's
doing
see.
Stay and Scream tomorrow? Like you're ready to go?
I haven't decided yet.
Do it.
Last year,
It's opening night. Do it.
I know.
You better do it.
Here's the thing. Opening night, I don't like to be in Stay and Scream because I like to see the opening ceremonies.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
But I don't know if I'll get there early enough to be able to see the opening ceremonies really well. Last year we did make it to see them really well, but we got there early. So I'm just gonna play tomorrow by ear.
Well, feed the whale and and the fishies and everything, and go do whatever you need to do and get there freaking early. So
yeah.
Oh my god.
It only happens once a year, Kyle.
I know.
It only happens once a year.
I know.
And it only happened for Horror Nights 32 once.
And then it'll never happen again. I know.
Yeah. And then
All right.
then you got to wait till next year to possibly do it again.
Yeah. We'll see. I'm planning on going all 3 nights this weekend because so the pass I got was the Frequent Fear Plus with Halloween Horror Nights Express. So the way that works is it's every night except Saturdays, but opening Saturday and closing Saturday is included. So this is one of only 2 weekends I could go all 3 nights.
You better go all the nights.
Yeah. And then closing weekend, I'm going to go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yes, I expect
And
Kyle
like
to
cry our way through the houses. Like, oh,
Dead
this
to the
is-
world.
So here's the thing. I'm super excited right now, and I will be sad when the event's over. But by the time it's over, I'm ready for a break.
You're
Oh
ready
yeah,
for
it's just
Christmas
like
time.
with Cedar Point's season. You're like, "Woo, I'm super excited!" Da, da, da. And then you get through it, and you're like,
Well, and Horror Nights, the crowds, like you gotta be so ready to just have your quiet November season at Universal where there's like
Yeah.
6
Oh,
people
yeah.
there and it's just nice and relaxed.
"Did Dean and Abby get the same passes as you, or
They did.
are you the
Yep,
only one
We
that?"
all 3 got Express.
Oh my god, you guys are gonna have a great couple months.
The same level of pass too.
Yes, we all 3 got Frequent Fear Plus with Universal Express. And I know that you guys are thinking, well, you live there. Why do you need Express? Well, I don't want to go every night and stay all
Wait,
night.
no 2-hour line.
It's not even that. I don't want to go every night and do all 10 houses and stay all night.
What he really wants to do, if anyone's been listening to the podcast in the past, he wants to go to Costco. He wants to be able to shop at Costco. He wants to be able to drive back to Universal, park his car for like an hour and a half, scan his pass, use his Express for maybe 2 houses, go back and then go back home,
All in
and then he's got his
40
grocery from Costco.
Yep. No, I mean,
Before his frozen foods melt.
yeah, you guys are poking fun, but like honestly, that's how. Not the Costco part, but we'll go in for like 2 hours. We'll do 3 houses, and then we'll go home. Like it's fun. It's chill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's
I
good
get
that
it.
you can get a few houses under your belt, and then go on for the next day, and then you go to work, and then you're
You'll
like,
get
"Ooh,"
worn
and
out
yeah.
on it then.
Tomorrow, I'm running the gauntlet. I'm doing all 10.
I love it. I
Open
love
and
it.
close.
You're
Let's do
making
it.
me want to buy Express, and I don't. I'm luckily, as long as you visit quote unquote early enough, or unless you like visit for one day, then I advise to get Express. But if you're visiting multiple days, you have a really good opportunity to get all of the houses done multiple times
Yes.
in the beginning of the season because it's
Also-
not as busy.
It also helps if you do Stay and Scream, which for those who don't know, Halloween Horror Nights is a hard ticket event, meaning they close the park and they kick everybody out, and you have to buy a ticket to come back in. If you're in the park during the day and you already have a ticket to come in to Horror Nights, you can stay in designated holding areas inside the park. And the benefit that gives you is if the event doesn't open until 6 o'clock, they're not opening those gates until 6 o'clock. But if the event starts at 6 and they clear the park and they're ready to go at 5:15, the Stay and Scream people get to go in at 5:15. And by the time the regular gates open, you could have 2 or 3 houses done.
What's
That's
nice though too is I mean it's all around the park, so it's like, okay, you want to hit 3 or 4 different houses there. You want to hit Stranger Things and Yeti and whatever. Like literally, it could say the park opens at 6 for everybody. At least you don't have to like run there. You're literally like feet away. You don't have to worry about like, obviously there's a bazillion people that do Stay and Scream and stuff, but yeah.
And there's also
Good stuff.
different Stay and Scream zones. So it's not like everybody in line is going to one house. You're in a pen and they'll open, right? And maybe your zone has access to Dr. Oddfellows and Stranger Things and Dueling Dragons, right? Probably like not those 3 because I know the map and those 3 are not close to each other. But there's different areas that have access to different houses.
Yep.
Cool,
Make
cool,
sure
cool.
you hydrate and
Yeah.
because the Florida sun is definitely brutal when you're sitting in that Stay and Scream.
Yep.
Standing,
Yeah.
I should say, not sitting.
All right. Let's run
Enough
All
of
right,
that.
so we've held it off long enough. Kyle, do you
So-
want to go last, and you want Evan and I to go first, and then you to?
give me a break.
I was
My-
gonna say-
my throat's starting to hurt.
I was gonna say let's number 10, yada da da da. This is my one sentence reason. No, all right, move on. Number 9. Let's just quick fire it.
Or we could just quick fire it and just give our list each one by one.
All right, whatever.
Let's just do one by one. Go for it, Evan.
All right, I'm starting. So I'm going to start number 10 with Yeti Campground Kills is my bottom. Sorry, Dane.
Oh man.
But
You
again,
suck.
I haven't done the event before. To me, it's just I'm walking into a Yeti themed house.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
dumb. It's going to change. This list is going to look completely different after I'm there. Just saying.
Yeah,
But
since
right
you
now, I'm
guys
just like, whatever.
since you guys
So-
only have one weekend, you're allowed to rank your houses based on that one weekend. I'm not putting together
Yes.
any ranks until at least weekend 3.
That's
Sounds
fair.
good.
All right, Karsten,
That
number
is fair.
10.
Evan, you want to just list yours down, and then I'll do mine.
Oh, okay. Okay. So number 9, I have Chucky because Chucky.
Okay.
Number 8, I have Darkest Deal. Number
Okay.
7, I have Dr. Oddfellow because I'm like, Carnival-y, but again, I don't know Dr. Oddfellow,
I
so
ought to kick you out of this call.
again, that might be my favorite one. We'll find out.
All right.
Kyle, I believe last year your like one of your least hyped ones, which was the Dead Man's Pier, ended up being like your favorite. Am I wrong?
It wasn't Dead Man's, it was Weekend. I had Weekend at dead last, and it finished the event as one of my
Oh,
favorite
that was
houses.
such a good one.
Okay.
I wish it would be
So-
back.
Case in point, thank you very much.
All right, continue.
I will continue. Number 6, I have Blood Moon Dark Offerings. Number 5, Universal Monsters. Number 4, Stranger Things. Fitting because season 4.
Yeah.
Number 3, Dueling Dragons, because I really just have no idea what to expect out of that. Number 2, The Last of Us. And number 1, The Exorcist.
Okay.
I feel like my list is so out of whack compared to like 99% of the people visiting. So
I like it. I mean, I don't have an issue with. Obviously, you can have like your own your own list, whatever. I don't see any issues with your order. So I think-
if I had even gone to like 2 Horror Nights events in the last like 10 years, I feel like this hype list would be completely different.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I'm at. I just know Exorcist, the movie, looks so freaking good, and the house I just know it's going to blow me away because there's so many things they can do with it. Because the movie's not out yet, so it's all going to be completely surprising, but yet it's going to be an IP, and I just think they're really going to knock it out of the park. That just seems so cool to me.
I agree. All right, so I'm going to give my list, and then Kyle, you can finish us off with your golden list, I guess you could say. Starting at 10 is going to be Last of Us. I'm just like, I mean,
really, man. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not really. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't played the video game. I have no no ambition to play the game. So, yeah, that's where it's at.
Did you watch the show?
Nope.
Oh.
Yep. Well, I normally sometimes go in blind. I sometimes like just doing that. So I don't plan on watching the show. No, 9. I've got the Blood Moon Dark Offerings.
Okay.
Evan, I think I have the same as you. For 8 is the Darkest Deal. Mm-hmm. I have a feeling that's going to rise up. I think that's going to be really scary. Like,
it's creepy. It's a cool theme, but I'll believe it when I see it, I guess.
Yeah. And again, sorry, Dean, Yeti Campground Kills is going to be 7. It's not last, so I just don't know if they're going to be able to keep that hype that they had the last house that they had, but hopefully. I mean, I'm excited to see where it goes. And then Chucky Ultimate Kill is going to be, I believe that's 5. Yeah. And then I have Exorcist is 4. Or no, 5. Sorry. I can't count. And then 4, I have Dueling Dragons. I'm excited for that one. Let me tell you, like, I'm super excited about the whole choose your fate.
I don't know where they can go with that. Like,
I don't know.
I don't know. It's a house themed after a roller coaster. Like, I don't.
Right.
And it's wizards. You know, like, how can that be Horror Nights? I don't know.
Right.
There's a lot there.
Yeah. And then I have Universal's Unmasked as number 3. Really, really stoked about that. And then I'm actually going to switch it up. I'm going to give you number 1. Number 1's going to be Dr. Oddfellow, and number 2 is going to be Stranger Things. Dr. Oddfellow, I'm a huge Jack, the clown icon fan, like huge. Like watched his shows, watched everything. And I'm just excited to see another part of, obviously it's not Jack, but I'm excited to see like another part of the Jack story, and they did it so well with a lot of their houses and things like that, and there's a reason why it's not always every single year where it comes through and stuff, which is really cool. And then obviously Stranger Things, I'm excited for that because I'm curious, and I've kind of like, when I watched the movie and when you've done Horror Nights, you kind of like pick and choose. You're like, I wonder if they're going to use this in the haunted house, or I wonder if this is going to be, whatever. I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen Stranger Things. It's probably just me and Evan. But yeah, so I'm super super excited about it. So Kyle, what do you think of my ranking?
He likes it better than mine.
You know what? If you are excited for a certain house, great. That is you. I don't have a problem with anything as much as I'm going, oh, what? Are you kidding me?
Come on, Kyle. You could say my list. You're like, really? Come on.
The great thing about this event.
You've done the event so many years. Like, what?
Yeah. The great thing about this event is everybody sees it in a different way, and everybody likes different things. So I'll just... Yeah. I don't think there's going to be a bad house this year. I like your list. It's somewhat similar to mine. So I'll start off. Number 10, The Darkest Deal.
Ooh, okay.
Number 9, Blood Moon Dark Offerings.
That was mine, yeah. Yep.
Number 8, Chucky Ultimate Kill Count.
Okay. Number
7, The Exorcist. Sorry, Evan.
Oh. I'm going to kick you off this call.
I know that 2 Universal Creative Houses were my 9 and 10. I tend to have more fun in the original houses just because they don't have to stick to any kind of like contract
fair.
or whatever.
That's fair.
I'm not a huge fan of the property. All right.
Okay. That's fair.
Number 6, The Last of Us.
Okay.
Number 5,
Fair.
Stranger Things 4.
Can I ask why you have the Last of Us in the middle of your pack?
Like you, I've not played the game. I've only seen a couple TV shows, so that for me is more of a I'm truly not familiar with the IP versus I think it's going to be terrible.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, number 5, Stranger Things 4.
Okay.
Number 4, Yeti Campground Kills.
Ooh. Hopefully Dean didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Wait, hopefully you didn't hear mine.
Yeah. Number 3, Dr. Oddfellows. I'm cautiously optimistic about this one, and hoping that when I do my official ranking, it's a little bit higher. But right now, I have it. At
Yes.
number
It's
2.
gonna be number 1. Dang it.
Number 2, Dueling Dragons: Choose Thy Fate, and number 1, Universal Monsters Unmasked.
Okay. All right. Yeah, ours is pretty similar within like a few, and then Evans is just kind of first timer.
I feel like mostly me and Kyle, except for Yeti, like the ones that are towards the bottom are towards the bottom, and the ones that are towards the top are towards the top. But yeah,
Sweet. I'm excited.
I'm just so excited.
So let me just say really quickly. I was gonna say I don't know if we're gonna be able to talk in detail about it, but the food. Holy crap!
Yeah, they specialty foods off the chain, especially drinks off the chain.
Lots of
I
stuff.
still haven't really read the menus too much that you sent me, Karsten, but I need to. That'll be my when I get to the airport 3 hours before my flight, and then because Frontier's going to wind up like canceling on me or something.
Yeah,
that's what I'll read in the meantime.
I highly recommend getting a Blinky Cup drink at some point. Those are very good.
So okay, back up. That's something I meant to ask. What the hell are the Blinky Cups? I just hear everybody talk about Horror Nights. Get your Blinky Cup.
So, Universal.
What's the thing with the Blinky Cup?
Halloween Horror Nights is a mature event, and it is made for adults. And as a result of that, they heavily push alcohol sales.
Okay.
One of the ways that they do that is they come up with a design. 1 year it was like Ghostbusters, and another year, like last year, it was just like the logo. But there's always some kind of a really cool reusable cup that you are served your alcoholic drink in, and there's a button on the bottom so it lights up, and the lights have different programs on them, so you can do like a solid color or like blinky, which is what you mostly hear people talk about. So pretty much,
so you're walking down the Midway and you just see a bunch of blink, 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 blink all across the Midway.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right.
Yep.
That's all there is.
So,
there's not some like super detailed story behind it. It's just a little fun souvenir.
Okay.
Well, they used to.
And I assume your alcoholic beverages are just pre-mixed drinks that are a little bit cheaper when you get refills.
Correct.
Cool.
They used to have, and they don't do it. I think it's because it was getting a little bit out of hand, or they weren't getting sold. But they used to actually sell blood bags, like in actual lines of the haunted houses and stuff, and like it would literally look like a blood in a bag, but it would be like a mixed drink and stuff.
Yeah,
and you would
Cedar
drink out
Point
of it.
has the blood bags, right?
Yeah, Cedar Point does.
So
they
does
don't really.
So does
They don't
Hollow
really-
Stream.
So sweet.
Yeah, I was just saying they don't really like have them like look like per se blood bag, but like those ones, like the liquid would actually be red from Universal. But yeah, Cedar Points are all kinds of different colors.
They get a green one and say it's zombie blood.
Yeah.
They also don't do this anymore, but they used to have syringe shots too, where you could get a shot preloaded in a syringe.
Gee, I wonder why they stopped that. Getting a little rowdy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't want to buy the super sugary like premixed cocktails, the Lacto Cooler is a good option. Reminds me a lot of the, I can't believe I'm forgetting this, but what was the sour beer that I fell in love with at Frontier Fest? The Alien,
Red Martian.
Yeah. Lacto Cooler is a kettle sour that's canned and made by an outside company. Those are very good, and I know they're coming back this year. That's my go-to drink.
Can you get beers in your Blinky cup?
You cannot. The Blinky cups are just for cocktails.
Well, the beers are probably cheaper than the refills, anyways.
They are,
because cocktails are so much sugar. Like,
yeah, and the beers are all outside contractors.
Okay.
You're like, can I get one of those awesome cool cocktail drinks but sugar free?
Yeah. No, can I just get a Blinky cup and just don't put anything in it? I just want the souvenir.
They will not let you do that. I tried when I was underage.
Damn.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
but I'm of age. Just don't pour anything in it. I'll give you my $16 or whatever.
They gotta put the alcohol in it. It's something to do with their liquor license.
Yeah.
Really?
And it's also those cups are designated to only have alcohol in them. So if you see like a 10-year-old kid walking along with an empty Blinky cup, you're led to believe that he just downed the whole thing.
That is very true. Yeah.
And I feel like the park has worse things to worry about at that point, so
it's more of
they don't really care.
Yeah, it's more of a security thing. I will say, however, you can make fun of me all you want, but I've definitely done this before. The amount of people who buy a Blinky cup and then have no interest in taking them home is very high. So a lot of times you can just find them if you don't want to buy one.
That's fair.
Like if all you want is the cup, a lot of times you can just find one.
Okay, and then just because I'm asking about drinks, and we could edit this out, but so I have a souvenir cup from Mardi Gras. Can I use that just for pop?
Yep.
Still, or is I have to? Oh, I can.
Yep.
Sweet. Do I have to get it reactivated or anything somehow?
You do. You pay like $10 or $8 or whatever, and then they just turn the RFID chip back on, and then it's good for the night.
Cool.
You're talking about the Freestyle Cup, right, Evan?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah. Absolutely.
Do they have a Horror Night specific?
Yep.
They do.
Well,
Horror Night.
they normally do.
They do. I've seen it this year.
I might just want to do that instead, but just because
and what's
it's a souvenir.
What's good, a little pro tip, if you find yourself you're going to be at the park all day and stuff, the earlier you activate your cup, obviously the more money you'll save, because like it'll be hot obviously during the day and everything. So if you activate your cup at like say noon, it'll say it doesn't end until like 2 a.m., which is really nice.
Yeah. I know on Saturday I'm rope dropping islands because like I want to ride Velocicoaster, and I didn't get Spider-Man, and I don't know.
Get those ones that you missed. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm rope dropping islands, and we're going to stay at Horror Nights till the end of the night, and I'm going to die.
You make sure that you ride the Flume.
I will. Both.
Dudley do.
Dudley and I need to ride Jurassic River Adventure or whatever the heck it's called because I didn't.
That's
it was
okay.
But that was one of my like most hyped rides of when I was there in the winter, and it was supposed to come off of refurb like the day I was there.
Let me just say that
behind schedule.
Kyle,
I didn't get to ride it.
You missed this, but when I got to ride the one in Hollywood, I love that one in Hollywood. You got a lot more wet, and it felt like a lot more, maybe less ride, I guess you could say, and more pyrotechnics and. Maybe not pyrotechnics. That's the wrong word. A more animatronics. There we go. Mm-hmm. That's what I was looking for. Throughout the ride and stuff, and a lot more wet features, I guess you could say.
Yeah, our Jurassic Park over here in sunny Orlando is not in the best of shape. It's actually quite terrible.
Really?
Yeah.
I did it last week.
I just did it last week for pass holder night, and we got well through halfway through the ride before the first functioning animatronic showed up. Karsten, you know that big scene where
didn't they just refurb it?
Yeah, you know the scene where they go, "Welcome to Jurassic Park," and the doors open and there's that big, yeah, that's gone. That dinosaur's gone, like completely gone.
Whoa, maybe he's getting really, really refurbed.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, his neck's been broken for like 10 years, so hopefully.
Well. Maybe, or maybe he's just on a vacation, you know?
Yeah.
Well, maybe if I do end up missing that this time around, it's not that big a deal.
Evan, do you have any more questions about Horror Nights that Kyle and I could possibly?
Mean, probably, but not for the show.
You better figure it out, because after tonight, you're not going to hear from me for 8 weeks unless it's at Horror Nights.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Kyle's going to be
Wait, no. What do you do on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday?
Sleep.
Horror Nights isn't open.
He just catches up on
Well,
sleep because
you have a job. You have a job. I could still talk to you 9 to 5, and then you go home and sleep.
What are you talking about? He just took an 8-week vacation from his job.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. All right.
It's like, maternity leave, only it's spooky leave or something.
Kyle, roll the music.
Yep, that's going to do it for us. All right. Good night, everybody. I have absolutely nothing else to say other than welcome to spooky season. Have a great night.
Yeah, before we get to Horror Nights, at least me and Carson, we'll talk about Halloween Weekends next week and get all excited for that. We'll do our preview, and yeah.
And we will definitely make sure we pull Kyle back by his ears and make him come back and do the show with us. But anyway, thanks for listening to us. Make sure you share the podcast. We love you guys, and we will talk to you guys next week.
All right. Take it away, Justin.
Thank you for listening to the Rundown on Fun. Be sure to follow us on social media to stay up to date on all things Cedar Fair. As always, be kind to your ride operators, and we will see you on the Midway. Good night.